Happy holidays everyone, and welcome to this episode of GVE London's Behind the Scenes. We sold this McLaren 720S, but the customer wanted it customised to his dream specification. We also got to show you the final part of the 1016 Rolls-Royce Cullinan. And we just had a Porsche 911 arrive that had been involved in a massive crash. All in this week's episode of GVE Behind the Scenes. We hope you're enjoying this series, and if you are, don't forget to like and share, and don't forget to hit that notification bell when we next upload.
Alright, so the guys at Unit 15 have just sold this McLaren 720S behind us. Thankfully, because at GVE, we can customize your car. And this spec isn't what the customer wanted. We're going to do the calipers, we're going to paint the wheels, and we're going to put carbon PPF where there isn't carbon showing. So here at GVE, we can do all of it under one roof. McLaren piece finally done. This is the engine cover. Now that it's been put on big for a few times, we're going to give it to the detailing guys. They're going to flat and polish it. Once that's done, it's going to go to PPF for the carbon PPF area to go all around. Then it'll be fit back on the car and good to go.
So if you see earlier, the Steve was here. He wanted to do the wing on that car in satin PPF to look how the color gonna come up. But now he decided to do the trunk lid. So I'm gonna cut the trunk lid. Gloss is easier to install than satin. Because satin you have to cover more. In the beginning, if you're learning, you feel like satin is easier because you won't get stretch mark. You don't get marks inside the film because it's satin. But one, you want to give a good job on the car, then satin is hard. When he tried to do it, he tried to do a normal way. He put a soap first and then alcohol. So now he told me it's no sticking, so I didn't use soap. I'm going straight with the alcohol.
Again guys, a customer with a McLaren 720S has requested us to replace the gear shift paddles to carbon extended ones. So I'm going to show you a process where you can do it yourself when you're home safely. So first of all, I'm going to be removing the airbag in the center. Usually you have to remove the earth terminal on the battery to make sure the airbag does not deploy. On this case I didn't because I am careful, I know what I'm doing, and I would not recommend anyone else to do the same thing. So now once the airbag is off, you have to remove the Allen key bolt on the center, which is going to be very tight and strong. Now you'll have to hold the steering wheel really strong and steady to remove the bolt. Once the bolt is removed, carefully take the bolt out. Now taking the steering wheel out, make sure you mark the splines. They're very identical, they can go in any way. Your wheel alignment will be out if you don't mark it. And when you take it out, make sure you guide the loom. The loom for the paddles goes right through the center, left hand side. You push it out carefully, do not damage the wires. Mainly don't damage the steering angle sensor. First of all, before removing the flappy paddles, you will have to remove the mechanism that works for your horn. It's like a sprung loaded mechanism. There's 3 bolts, which is a T30 bolts. Remove those bolts and carefully remove that brace bracket. Once that's off, you will see a T20 4 bolts. There's 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Once you take them off, the flappy paddles come off. Simple as that. Test fit them on, make sure it's sitting correctly. There's no movement, there's no play in the braces. Bolt everything back on, make sure the flaps click. The micro switches are working perfectly fine. Once I've done that, put the brace back on, which is the horn mechanism. Once that's on, put the steering wheel back on, make sure it's aligned to the original mark. Carefully, once the loom is out, now retighten the T30 bolts. Now once that's on, make sure the loop sits in perfectly. It doesn't get caught or pulled on an edge where it can damage the wires. Now before putting a center bolt on that holds the steering wheel, make sure you replace Loctite. You can see on the top there where I put literally a drop on, and that's perfectly enough. Don't overload it with it. And once you put it on, tighten it, tighten it, tighten it, and it will get to a stopping point, and that's it, job done. Once that's done, make sure the steering wheel is moving freely, there's nothing catching in the back. Put the airbag back on by connecting all the electric plugs, and then twist it so the wiring loom sits in the middle and not pushed to the sides or corners where it could get ripped or damaged. And there we go, we clicked it in now. And now we're testing it, making sure the shifts are working perfectly fine, and making sure when you select the indicators, they're clicking back on left and right. And that's it, job done. And now you know how to replace carbon flappy paddle on a McLaren 720S.
The panels of the 1016 kit are currently being sprayed body color, so the same color as the car. Whilst they're doing that, the guys in detailing are preparing the color linen for a full body wrap. It's been a few weeks that we've been working on this car. As you can see, the guys are currently wrapping the car in Innositec Nardo Grey, specifically picked by the customer. He really likes Innositec's paint-like finish, something we've done on his other color linen but in a different color, so he specifically asked us to do it in this brand. So the 1016 wheels are finally done. There was a small issue when we first got it. There was some engineering issues. Basically, the TPMS sensor, every time you wanted to fill air in it, it would touch the spoke. But Brixton Forge, you know, they sorted out really quickly. It's a 3-piece wheel, so they didn't have to engineer the whole wheel. It was just 1 piece. So anyway, they sent it, we fit it, thanks to AutoWorks for that. So we're gonna put it on the car and see how it looks. I don't do manual labor, by the way. So we've just got a Porsche 992 from the UAE. I think he spent his summer here, but unfortunately he got into a big accident. Huge. I mean, all 4 wheels are turning in all different directions. So we're going to get it in the body shop, get it stripped down, see what's wrong with it, get it into servicing, put it on the ramp and find out what exactly it needs.
So customers bought this vehicle to us because it was, as you can see, it's been involved in an accident. What I'm going to be doing is completely stripping it, all the broken components, because in a picture at the start you can see what's broken, but you can't see what's behind. So I'm going to be stripping the front end, the sides, even the interior and the back end as well. So I've got a pile of wood bits which are not broken here. I'm going to be putting all of that stuff here, and everything that's come off the vehicle which is broken, I'm leaving in this pile, and going to write it down what the front end, all the broken parts, what it needs. While I'm taking it off, I've got all my organizer here with all the bolts, so I can backtrack and see where everything goes and take a picture as I go along. So inside, as you can see, interior airbags have been deployed, the steering wheel one, even the dashboard, and even these curtain airbags have been deployed. So all of these will have to be released. Potentially there may be more damage inside once we've removed them, but hopefully not too bad. And from the back side, so coming to the back, we've got the offside rear tail lamp that's broken, the lens is broken, the exhaust tips have been squashed. So once I've taken all this part off, potentially maybe there will be more damage at the back. As you can see, the bracket's completely off, so there is going to be more damage. So it's going to require a bit of suspension work as well. So these arms are broken off, snapped off on this side. Front, these intercooler parts are broken as well, and even these arms. Normally a wheel arm shouldn't be doing this, but you know. So yeah, it's going to require loads of arms and loads of mechanical bits, etc. Mine can easily divert and miss things. Very, very small little things. So the best thing to do is anything that you see broken or not broken, separate them. Label all your bolts, where they go, and write it down. Take pictures as you go along, because with the amount of damages and everything there is, when you come to fitting them on, is going to be, you will easily forget. So you can go back to your pictures, look at your bolts and everything, and you can easily put them on. So it may seem easy to take the wing off just because it's a little bit loose there, but it's not. I need to potentially take the door off as well, because there's a washer bottle there and there's 2 bolts behind the washer bottle. Now I don't want to take the risk of yanking the washer bottle, because I might end up breaking something that's not already broken. So to be safe, just in case, I'm going to remove the door in case I find something else that's damaged I might miss. So take the door off, there's a cover there, take that off, and that might just release the washer bottle for me to get to the bolts. So after removing the bumper and this surround, which goes around here, removing that, you can tell radiator and intercooler is broken, the bracket that sits there is broken, and all the mechanism behind it as well. There's a fan that keeps the intercooler cool, is also broken as well. So once removing this, I'll be able to properly see where else is broken. So potentially this will also need to come off as well. Remove the bumper from the vehicle. At the start, and before we remove the bumper, we only assumed that the damage was only this, because there's no any other physical damage on the bumper. Once the bumper was removed, we discovered, look, some damages here, everything broken here, all the airbox pipes are broken there, and this side as well. And on the bumper, literally everything here and around there, apart from the exhaust being squashed, there is physically no damage. So if you look at the bumper, there's physically no damage anywhere here apart from the exhaust being squashed. There's no damage there, no damage there, and anywhere around this area where all the brackets and everything was broken. That's why they say when you buy a car from the auction, be careful. Nothing is straightforward and simple, because once you remove things, that's when you discover bits and bobs. So it might end up costing you more to repair than actually you're thinking you might have a bargain.
One of the biggest problems here in Body Shop is waiting for parts. Now this Porsche behind me has now been authorized by the customer. As you can see, it's battered in every corner. So what we're going to do is order all the parts from Porsche. Majority of it will be coming from Germany. Main dealers don't have dashboards, for example, or airbags in stock, or they might have 1 or 2. So we're going to get all the parts ordered. Majority are coming from Germany.
Right now, we have wheels that have just come out of the oven, been powder coated, and they're currently sitting here. And then the process will follow on through after they've been powder coated and put into our diamond cut machine. So in here, after you get the wheel, you clamp it in safely, and the diamond cutter will come along, and he'll put it into a little lathe, and the lathe will spin round once the program has been set in the computer, and it will go along automatically and follow the program and cut the wheel, which then will give you this finish. So you come into the paint booth, and you currently have a set of wheels that our customer has currently selected personally. They spray it. So our painters Joe and Lloyd are currently in the process of doing a certain perfection. And then as you can see here, after it's been lacquered, it gives it the finishing touch. And then it will go from here, and our tyre fitters will collect the alloy wheel, and it will fit the correct tyre that has come off, or a brand new tyre, and put it on it for the customer, and then be weighted, so balanced out, and then the customer is ready to come exactly, that's the right wheel for the right job. And then it'll have your information, diamond cut, and then always, like, if it's got any, like the customer wants it, and then it will be noted down at the bottom, and yeah, then it comes in here, and then we take the wheel. So we grind the wheel, because sometimes we have a bigger indent on the alley wheel, because alley is like mixed metals and it's more flexible than other alloys, metals, sorry. And then you get the grinder, obviously with your PPE, I won't do it now. And then you grind it down to a certain point. Yeah. So you have your DA, and you select your correct sanding disc, and you go over the grinding. And you make sure that all the scratches and damages and dents and whatever you have it are correctly done. Then after the wheel is completely done, face and the back, or paint, any leftover bits of paint that the acid tank hasn't cleaned off, we'll make sure it's completely bone dry, and it will come along and it will go into our shot blaster. It has little shards of metal and sand as such, if you like. And what happens is, when the lid is down, you have your glove, which I'll show you in a minute.
At GVE, we are 720S mad. We've got this custom 720 here with the body kit. We've got a spider behind it. However, the star of the hour is that 720S over there. We spec'd it to exactly what the customer wanted. It's about to be delivered in an hour. I can't wait for his feedback.